There are no atheists on a falling plane. If you look around, everything that exists, everything that was created was the brainchild of somebody with a brain. This phone, this microphone, it didn't just appear. Somebody with a brain had to think of it, and then somebody had to make it, had to manufacture it. And the more complex the product, usually the more complex the brain. So for example, it takes a lot more to manufacture a computer hard drive as opposed to a pencil. The more complex the product, the more complex the innovator. Now, when you look around under this concept that everything that was created had a brain, someone with a brain, when you look around the world, take a tree, for example, a tree that grows in the ground. It grows in soil. If you plant that seed in cement, the tree won't grow. It has to be soil. When that tree grows to be thousands and thousands of pounds, you can measure the amount of soil surrounding the tree, and the amount of soil will be completely unchanged in terms of weight. Yet, out of this simple, small seed came a tree weighing thousands and thousands of pounds. The bark of the tree is completely unedible. The bark of the tree then grows branches, also unedible. The branches then grow leaves, which are a completely different material that come from nothing, from the soil or from the seed or from the bark. Those branches and those leaves then lead to fruit that are completely edible. But before you can eat them, it will be a certain color, green, and then it will tell you when it's edible by changing colors to something yellow or something red or something blue. Now, if you objectively look at the tree and you tell me that this just happened to be by mistake, by accident, I'm sorry, but you are willfully ignorant. The amount of wisdom in a simple tree says that somebody with a brain, a complicated brain, had to think of that tree and had to make it. So all those people who think that, hey, I'm rational, I'm an atheist, I don't believe in something unless I see it, respectfully, you are choosing to ignore the evidence right in front of you. And just like you don't believe that this microphone was made by itself, you can't believe that this world was made by itself. And when in doubt, God forbid you're ever facing a situation where your family or your life is in danger, I promise you, you're going to start praying.
Now we have caught them. Now we have captured all this. Bro, we're back on the atheist thing. We're back on it. Like, I'm already getting hyped.
Well, just something like really simple. Atheists get caught up in their own arguments all the time. And it's almost like they are some of the most arrogant people on earth. No diss, no nothing like that. But if we're just being straight logical, they are some of the most arrogant people that you're going to come across because they seem to have an answer for everything except things that they say I don't know, which that would obviously come off as humble. But if we're talking about the atheist perspective, it's not humble at all. They're just saying that we haven't found the answer yet, but when we find it, we'll let you know. What if I'm passed away? Does the answer matter then? So they defeat themselves. And remember when we had the conversation, the hot seat conversation with the atheist, you guys can go and check it out once we upload it. I asked them, you're basically calling yourself, like, how are you not God by saying there is no evidence for God? And this is a great explanation when you look at how complex things are. And it's so complex that we're learning more about it as time moves on. Like, how much more can you learn about a tree? And the dude mentioned something I was thinking about. How do plants actually pull nutrients from soil without the soil depleting? I was actually just thinking about that. Like, what?
Yeah. And the weight is the same and everything that he was saying, like, same soil. Crazy.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. And there's certain weeds that when they grow out of the soil, they grow out, pull nutrients that the soil is lacking. And then they die, and then the soil absorbs it.
You know what's also crazy? If you just think about water, you can't get rid of water because if you burn it, it evaporates. But it's just transformed into a different form.
Yeah, it goes into a different state.
So it's like certain things that we know here that exist on Earth. It's just even just thinking about how they can be here for thousands of years or X, Y, and Z is amazing in itself for its design. But water in particular is one of the only ones that we never see that we know that you can't like get rid of it. Like you can't, whether you know it or not, the water that you drink existed before you drank it, existed hundreds of years before you drank it because it's recycled. When you study or when you go back to your science class in 5th grade, you learn the cycle of water, condensation, precipitation, liquidation. It's this cycle that water goes through, and that you learn that water is never lost. It's just stored. It's just regenerated. It exists in your body as well as in the earth as well as air. And guess what? It's gonna be the same amount. And that's crazy to think about it because when you think about drinking water, you think, oh, I drank the water. No, but our bodies are made up of a lot of water, right? When we die, we sweat water, we die, our bodies get dry. The water is going to come out of you. It's going to come out of you, and it's never you. We never have lost water on this earth.
Mhm.
It's either in the sky or in the ocean or in the air. But I bring that analogy up because the being who created water was highly sophisticated
Right.
when it came to thinking, like putting this together. Like this gives life to almost everything. Almost everything needs water, whether we think about pouring water on it or not, because guess
Mhm.
what? Water is in the air. It's in
Yep.
the air. So everything needs water, literally.
And also the complexity of water is beyond me, honestly.
Beyond, bro.
Is beyond me.
Beyond,
Like,
bro.
is it, if you say there's no God, like you have to be on a different level of thinking. Like you're not even thinking like everyone else, because most people believe that there is a God or there's some kind of being, but to say that it doesn't exist at all is to just be so sure of everything that you know for a fact. And if you say, well, I'm not sure, there's no evidence of it, then you're basically saying that you're an agnostic, because if there was evidence of it, you might change your mind. And then there are those atheists who are just like, there is no God no matter what you do, because everything can be explained away. And you find deeply thoughtful things like that. And you're just like, well, I guess that couldn't have been a random process, huh? It could have been a random process that no matter what I do, I can't burn water away. I can't destroy water. And even if you trapped it in a container and like try to burn it off, it just turns into energy where you open the thing and it just explodes. Boom. Yeah. And so like the energy can't be, everything is constantly recycled. And even the recycled process, you have to remember it has to be programmed to be able to be recycled. When you think of a leaf and you burn a leaf and it burns and turns into ash, that ash contains nutrients that goes back into the ground and gets
some kind of carbon
Yeah.
form now. Yep.
Right. So you can't ever get rid of anything, which it's like if humans could get rid of stuff, we would have gotten rid of stuff a long time ago.
Yeah, well,
because that's just what humans
plastic,
do.
You know what? All this plastic, what's going on?
So if we can get rid of stuff, the earth wouldn't be here right now. The earth would be gone. None of us would have the things that we need, because the people before would have used up everything and burned everything away. So it's like, man, like this stuff is deep, man. It's designed so well and everything works so perfectly together that the people who are experiencing it don't think anyone created it. That's how well it's created. That's a different level of thinking. That's like beyond the atheist level of thinking, because the atheist says this just exists and the Christian says it was created.
Yeah.
But then when you examine it further, it can be something that you can test, examine, observe, retest. Like you could expect certain results because it was created to expect certain results.
Yeah. And my whole frustration with when people deny, or not even just deny, but just aren't honest with the conversation. I always have a lot of thoughts if people are doing it on purpose. Like either you really believe it because you found evidence, or you just stuck because you want to believe it without confirming the evidence. When you're on that side, that is so dishonest. It's so dishonest because you didn't look into it. You're denying the evidence. Like the guy said in the video, you don't want to believe that there's a creator because of your own, like, selfish bias. You know what I mean? Like because you want to believe there is no God for a particular reason that within yourself you're fighting. But when the evidence, you're probably scared to find out that you do see that there's a God that created, that you do see that it is not just from a coagulated happenstance. You know that this was constructed by a supreme being, but you don't want to get to that point where you have to be honest with yourself and be honest with the evidence that exists. That's my number one frustration when it comes to these conversations, because there's those type of people that they just don't do their due diligence because they just don't want to.
They don't want to, for sure.
You don't want to find it out because then they're gonna have to really believe something,
because then they're going to have to contend with answers and statements that Christians have been making for thousands of years.
Exactly. And look, and that's a form of pride. That's a form of pride because you want to be in charge of the answers. You want to say, oh no, I am right, rather than saying what you find, oh, that's the truth. You know what I mean? Like we're all about finding the truth about things, within the question and the answer. Like I'm not trying to learn something just so I'm I'm right. I'm trying to figure out what is the truth behind this thing. And that's what it boils down to. So you're lying to yourself. You're keeping yourself away from the actual truth.
Not too long ago, what's this dude that he went on Joe Rogan and he was talking about all this like super like advanced stuff. He's an actor. He's a light-skinned dude.
Oh, Terrence Crawford.
Yeah.
Terrence Howard. Terrence Howard.
Howard. Yeah, Crawford. He said he reached out to Neil deGrasse. Neil deGrasse is this super well-known scientist guy. Like the guy basically just told him to F off. Like this stuff that you're trying to get me to peer read and all this stuff, I'm not gonna do that stuff. You don't come to me with your scientific papers.
Terrence Howard said that, or Neil deGrasse?
Neil deGrasse said that, basically. Because the reason why I know that is because another scientist came on who Terrence befriended. He wanted to look into stuff with Terrence, and he corrected Terrence on a whole bunch of stuff. But he said in the scientific community, there's a bias toward ego. Like you don't who do you think you are coming to me with your papers? And these are the same people publishing information with a bias toward naturalism and Scientology and all of these scientific things away from God. So they have a bias against God, and they control the majority of scientific, peer-reviewed, all of these things coming out. So it makes sense that before modern times, it was Christians who were basically going after the scientific research and findings and stuff. And things have changed now to secular people in the science field. And it's very interesting that all of a sudden things are now all falling away from God. There's no existence of God. Everything can be explained, coming up with different theories, and people are accepting it as truth. You can see everyone talking about, oh, well, men and women have evolved to do this and this. Most people just say scientific things without understanding that it's all a theory. And that's what people are living off of, is theory. So it's kind of crazy that people still call themselves atheists and base this on science, but science itself is biased against God to begin with. It's wild. It's a full circle, man.
But yeah, man, drop your thoughts in the comments, guys, whether you disagree or agree. You know, as always, let us know your thoughts. Let's have a conversation down below and share this content. Share it with somebody. Hey, you could share it because you think we're wrong. You can share it because you think we're right. Or if you found something, interesting that we said, share it with somebody. Let's get it going, man. Catch you guys on the next one. We're out. Peace.
Peace.
Thanks for watching The Holy Duo.